Hi, this is Charlie from Who Dares Rolls. I think this is episode 3 now. I have a lot of Kickstarter-y news, so I'm only going to cover a couple of things outside of that. So, first of all, this person should not exist. This was part of the Solo But Not Alone bundle, and it's an interesting game. It needs a copy of Where's Wally. Turns out the copy in my attic was way too old and didn't have everything I needed, so I bought a fresh one just for this. So This Person Should Not Exist is a short solo game, although to be honest, you could probably play it with other people. The idea is that there's a person-shaped anomaly. This thing, this creature, it has been going through space and time, appearing with several objects of power, some of them also looking like people, and you need to hunt them down. So in this game, you need a marker. I used a Sharpie, some stickers, and it doesn't say it, but a ruler. A ruler would be really good. So you go through each of these spreads, which I'm sure most people have seen, for Where's Wally, and you find the anomaly, where it is, and you mark it on the page. And you say a prayer, but the prayer must change every time. Then you mark out the objects of power. Trying to be cautious about spoilers here for anyone using Where's Wally now for this. So I'll just stick to this one here. This is case number 2. 2? Yes. The first mass casualty event, and that's how serious hunting this down is. So first of all, you find the anomaly. You find the objects of power and you triangulate where they are. You actually physically mark it on the page, and that has that kind of transgressive, transformative joy that something like Pandemic Legacy up there provides, you know, where you're destroying cards or writing on them or doing all sorts of things. So here we draw mainly, but we also stick stickers on. And this person here, Toothmosis, I actually looked up suitable ancient Egyptian names for this one, but Toothmosis conspired with Methuselah, this thing that looks like an old wizard, and has since become contaminated. Somehow, it's still alive. So what we've done is we've recommended on this here node it is to be exiled out there somewhere where he can't contaminate further people. You also mark certain folks by scribbling out their faces. Those are anyone that's been contaminated. So ideally anyone who's got that kind of, you know, that red and white kind of top or look to them. And there seem to be more. They seem to be growing with each case, I've noticed. And sometimes you just need to scorched earth a place and mark a kill zone. So I've observed rituals. I've seen a couple of mass casualty events. And then I ran out of sticky notes. So I'm not finished with this yet, but I had a really good fun time. I've bought the second one as well, just because that way I can do more of it, or my partner can do more of it if she likes the look of it all. But that's been really good fun. It's a nice light little exercise, a nice little kind of repurposing of the whole Where's Wally genre of book. Now, if there could be a version for the X-Men look and find, that'd be cool, although I dread to actually ruin it and wreck it myself. So maybe not. Anyway, on to the main subject, Zinequest. Now, Zinequest is now an annual tradition. Every February, games designers from some of the best and most popular kind of indie names down to people that have never published anything before take part in Zinequest. And it's amazing. You see so many ideas. Like, even if you look at them and go, oh, not so keen on the system, just the raw volume of interesting concepts is amazing. And there have been some great games. Like last year, I finally got to play Girl Underground, which is from the first Zinequest, and Green Dawn Mall, which is reviewed on this site. Hopefully, Michael actually put a link to a review of it on there, because I had a great fun time doing that. And it was one of my first lockdown games, actually. The zines themselves tend to be fairly small. Here's one as an example from last year, Candlelight, which is rooted in trophy. A term I'll clarify one day in the future when I deal with all the different kind of acronyms and things. But this is based on the trophy role-playing game, and in fact a sequel to it, for what to do when your character's dead. But that's last year. I covered that as well last year. Not necessarily Candlelight, but in Zinequest 2 in its roundup. So this year, I have video powers. So I'm going to go through a few of the different projects that I've seen now. I will do another one because all through February, more and more projects will be popping up on Kickstarter. They're mostly short. They're mostly fairly cheap. I've already backed 2, and my willpower is crumbling with several others. But first of all, the 2 that I've backed. So the first one is by Green Dawn Mall's author, Colm Martin. It's called 2 Summers, and it's about 2 separate summers, 30 years apart, where you are playing teenagers in the 90s, and then you're playing the same characters as adults, even including some changes in stats by the looks of it. And it's about an adventure that you go on, and then you revisit. And that sounds an awful lot like It. But I trust Martin to actually do more than just that. And the art by Mamatos, I hope I've pronounced that right, is beautiful. It's got this kind of like this wistful, nostalgic, kind of beautiful, airy look to it all. And it promises something a bit lighter than, say, It, but still that idea of going somewhere that you've been 30 years earlier and seeing what's changed, what kind of oddities are out there. And that looks lovely. Then we have Alexi Sargent's Back Again from the Broken Land. Now, this one I knew was good already, because this was actually published in Codex, the zine put out by the Gauntlet community. And it looks amazing. And this is for a fuller, more rounded out version. Back Again from Broken Land is basically the scouring of the Shire, almost. So you've won the day. Well done. Good work. Now you can take a load off. Or wait, no, you can't. You've still got to go home, and you've still got a lot of baggage to get through as well. Physical and mental, and deep in your soul as well. So Back Again from Broken Land starts you off with a couple of burdens, and through your journey home, through talking through the experiences you've had, and even dealing with the remnants of the Doomslord's forces, you'll hopefully get back home in one piece, and hopefully able to deal with everything that you've gone through. And it looks lovely. I mean, it sounds a bit harsh, potentially. I reread Lord of the Rings a couple of years ago, and it turns out that Tolkien guy is all right. He's pretty good, isn't he? And I actually really liked that sequence of realising these hobbits, like small, ineffectual creatures, had been through so much. All of the damage, all of the experience, like when they came home and everything was kind of taken over and in a rough way. And you realise, oh God, this is Hobbit stakes, and these guys are veterans now. They are like irreparably damaged, but far stronger for everything they've gone through. So that's back again from the Broken Land. Now, active ones that I am interested in, I've not taken a plunge for yet, but are very tempting, include Thursday by Eli Seitz. And this is a kind of Groundhog Day, Russian doll kind of adventure. It's using the belonging outside belonging system, which is GM-less or GM full. I've no idea how this is going to do it, but you're basically in a time loop, and all of you will go through it and play through this day until someone dies, and then you reset. And again and again. And I'm late for party with Russian Doll. I saw it late last year, and it was really good. Thursday, what a concept. And this Thursday does look like it's a pretty cool concept. I love the idea of introducing a time loop to an RPG. I just have no idea how you successfully mechanize it. So best of luck with Eli, and I really want to see how that goes. Next up, we have The Drain. Now, this is, I think, the only one on my list which is an expansion for something. Specifically, this is Ian Usem's adventure and funnel for Mothership. Now, people that know the phrase funnel and what it means in an RPG have hopefully gone, ooh, Mothership is an OSR-style game about science fiction and desperate survival. It's the kind of thing I should really poke and prod Mike with, because I'm sure he would love it. And this is a funnel adventure in a war-torn spaceship. The map of it looks beautiful. And this being a funnel, you make 4 to 5 level 0 characters, and you put them through a meat grinder. Hopefully non-literal, but really all bets are off in these kind of things. And the idea is, if you make it out the other side, then you have a fresh, slightly scuffed level 1 character. And it sounds like a really fascinating exercise. I don't really OSR much, but this sounds kind of cool. There's This Night on the Rooftops by Caleb Martin Rubsat. Again, I hope I've pronounced your name all right there. This is about a gang of kids hanging out in an industrial world where magic is beginning to fade. It's beginning to become less of a thing the more that technology is growing, and you are a gang of kids kind of hanging out. It's another belonging outside belonging game, and it sounds interesting. Like, I'm sure there's more to it than just that, but I do love that kind of, odd hanging out in a weird liminal space in a weird world. I can see it working well with actually one of last year's Kickstarters. I forget the entire name of it now. I think it's, do you call it street magic? Something like that, where you create a magical city. I feel real bad for not remembering the exact name, because I was reading it just last week and thinking, oh, that looks lovely. I might try and get Mike to mention the actual name down in the notes below. But anyway, on to the next one. The next one is Low Stakes, and this is by Craig Campbell. And this is What We Do in the Shadows, the role-playing game. It doesn't necessarily have to be vampires that are all hanging out together, but whatever you are supernatural creatures or people with supernatural creatures, and you are having an extremely low stakes life. You're trying to exist in the normal world, and much like What We Do in the Shadows itself, there are even segments where you have a little aside and you talk to camera, and I love that kind of mechanic. That sort of idea. It's specifically built to have that kind of sitcom structure. So that looks really neat. It's one I need to show a friend of mine, one of my regular group, the Infighters, as he has After Hours, which has some similarities. It's a bit more being human than this is What We Do in the Shadows, but still, I'm sure there'd be some interesting mechanics to check out there. Right, finally, we have projects which I've got my eye on, which are not on Kickstarter yet. At least they're not live. If I can find the links for them, I will put the links for them down below. And I keep realizing that I'm pointing vaguely at my junk there, but you're just going to have to live with that now. These different Zinequest Kickstarter projects aren't out yet, but they will be soon. So visit them, get them clicked on the notify me at launch. There is Token, which is another rooted in trophy game. This is specifically a duet game. It's something which will just be fine by itself. You don't need the other trophy rules, although I'm sure if you're a trophy connoisseur, you will like it. This is by the author, Gabriel Robinson, of Candlelight, and it's a 2-player game. It sounds like it's kind of a bit more about a duel between people in a forbidding forest and what you leave there for one another. It sounds like I've heard very, very little, but to be honest, the pedigree between Gabriel and the trophy mindset, you've got me, basically. That's me checking your project out. We also have External Containment Bureau by Eli Kurtz. This is an office drama, paranormal, kind of X-Files-y sort of game. It sounds very X-Files-y, a bit like there was a campaign setting for Alternity called Dark Matter, and I loved it. It was the first campaign setting I really fell head over heels with. And I've not found anything that good for that sort of X-Files-y vibe, but this is something that might work that way. It's a Forged in the Dark game, so it uses Blades in the Dark type mechanics to reflect the jobs that you're doing, but also with the downtime, what goes on in the office as well between work. So that's pretty rad. There is, getting to the end here, don't worry. There's, in a similar vein to that, but kind of a bit Scooby-Doo, a bit Ghostbusters, there's Paranormal Incorporated by Alicia Furness. This is a GM-less game about paranormal investigations. It's actually carved from Brindlewood. Again, one day I'll do a video just covering all of these different phrases which I'm using. But it's based on the mechanics of Brindlewood Bay, which is a kind of murder she wrote RPG, and it's fantastic. Jason Cordova's done a very good job with it, and I really want to see what people like Alicia bring to those mechanics and change up with them. So that's another one that I'll be looking out for. And finally, we have Gameonomicon's Warmer in the Winter, and this is one that I should have a review out for soon, hopefully. I just need to finish writing it. This is a game which is a Hallmark movie, Netflix movie, kind of Christmas rom-com RPG. I've mentioned it briefly in a previous video, and I didn't realise it was coming to Zinequest. I've kept looking intermittently at the itch.io page for it, going, is there an update? Kind of, I'd like a bit more mechanically. I've been enjoying it. I've run, a couple of sessions of it, and it was really good fun. But I'm curious to see what happens when it's got a more fuller form to it. Mainly, in running the preview version, I did need to know elements from games like Masks and games like Monster Hearts for it. And that really helped push me onwards. So seeing it as a self-contained Zinequest project, I can't wait. I'm still in incredible anticipation for Passion de las Passions, which should arrive later this month. So that's another just insta-back for me. So that's my first Zinequest 2021 video. I will definitely return for at least one more, and we'll see what else comes out. Is there anything here that you are interested in? Is there anything I've not mentioned and should in a future video as far as Zinequest goes? Mention it in the comments or ping me a message. Tweet at me. I'm at Charlie_EN on Twitter, or at Mike, who's at WhoDesRolls, on Twitter, I think. Feel free to send any abuse his way if you didn't care for this video, but any praise over to me would be nice. We are whodaresrolls.com on the internet. We also have a Patreon, which is how I have lovely microphone here. And who knows, maybe I'll have a better camera setup than a phone in front of my television here at some point in the future. So if you want better videos, chuck us a bit of money. That'd be lovely. And that's it for me this time. So thanks.